Christopher Columbus, the renowned Italian explorer, is often celebrated as the man who discovered America. His voyages across the Atlantic Ocean in the late 15th century opened up new frontiers for European exploration and colonization. However, beneath the surface of Columbus's legacy lie dark and disturbing secrets that paint a different picture of this historical figure. Was he truly an explorer or an exploiter? Let us delve into the untold truths and scrutinize the actions of Christopher Columbus. As we embark on this historical journey, it is important to understand the context of Columbus's time. In the late 15th century, Europe was driven by desire for wealth, power, and new trade routes. Columbus, like many explorers of his era, sought to navigate uncharted territories in search of these riches. His first voyage, funded by the Spanish monarchy, set sail in 1492 with the intention of reaching the Indies and establishing trade routes. However, what unfolded during his voyages would forever alter the course of history. Contrary to popular belief, Columbus was not the first European to discover the Americas. Norse Vikings had settled in North America centuries before his arrival. Yet, Columbus's voyages did mark the beginning of extensive European colonization and exploitation of the New World. The consequences of his arrival were far-reaching and catastrophic for the indigenous populations that had inhabited these lands for thousands of years. During his expeditions, Columbus and his men committed numerous atrocities against the indigenous peoples they encountered. They resorted to slavery, violence, and forced conversions in their pursuit of power and wealth. The devastation wrought by Columbus's actions resulted in the decimation of entire populations and the loss of cultural heritage that can never be fully regained. One of the most significant atrocities committed by Columbus was the enslavement of native populations. Many indigenous people were captured and forced into labor on plantations and mines, subjected to brutal treatment and inhumane conditions. The horrors of slavery inflicted upon these individuals have left an indelible scar on the history of the Americas. Columbus's arrival also introduced devastating diseases to the indigenous populations, diseases to which they had no immunity. The spread of illnesses such as smallpox, measles, and influenza ravaged entire communities, leading to widespread death and devastation. This unintentional consequence of Columbus's voyages further exacerbated the decline of indigenous cultures. Despite the destructive impact of Columbus's actions, he is still revered by many as a hero and pioneer. This raises important questions about the selective nature of history and the consequences of omitting certain narratives. It is crucial that we critically examine and acknowledge the dark chapters of our past in order to strive for a more inclusive and truthful understanding of history. In conclusion, Christopher Columbus's legacy is far from the romanticized tale of a brave explorer. He cannot be solely credited with discovering America, nor can his actions be excused or forgotten. Columbus's expeditions unleashed a wave of colonization, exploitation, and devastation upon the indigenous peoples of the Americas. It is essential that we recognize the complex and uncomfortable truths about his role in history, ensuring a more nuanced and inclusive understanding of our shared past.